You don't hear it, you're gonna have to your bell over your bell. Deals will be recorded, so being recorded. Open our own bridge meeting.
The only thing on the agenda is the review and signing of the agreement for professional services for Keller Associates. That was reviewed last week. We made some modifications for it. I sent that to you. And the current one is on for signature today.
That was the one that had to do with the special qualification.
Yes. The definition is qualified.
And we've qualified that description.
Yes.
Okay.
The motion that we sign the agreement for professional services with Keller and Associates, like modified the previous version.
Second motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks. Well, Lincoln.
And then another picture of Bear Creek. Nothing has changed from last week, but I did go up there. I did take some more pictures. They are waiting for the wall design engineer to get back with modifications from our design engineer. They should have those this week. They should be bringing in the materials for building the wall, hopefully the end of this week.
They hope the engineer, done it.
Yeah.
Snow. What's the timeline?
Iona, they are due to start the contract work about October 13th. That's when their contract time starts. We should start seeing things happen out there pretty quickly.
Have they done all the purchase agreements and stuff, but right away,
On Iona Road, we're completely done. On 49th North, they're just starting that process. I haven't seen any come through yet, but as soon as I do, I'll get them on the agenda for signature. We are also working on the bridge replacement at 65th South across the Butte Arm Canal. That we should have the agreements signed. We've got a meeting with Keller Associates out there on the 17th to finish up the last one. And when water goes out, they'll be starting to work on the bridge on 65th South.
where is that on 60%?
It's near 15th East. 15th West, 15th East. Old alias name is Jamestown Road.
Oh, okay. You remember that?
Yeah, Jamestown Road, okay.
Now you know where it's at.
Keller Streets.
You guys had a big hole in the 97th South thing.
Yeah,
It's been,
that's repaired and hopefully get that patched this week, so.
down.
That was a 48-inch culvert. No, 27, 24-inch culvert.
It was down there,
It was 10 feet deep.
and
And it was a culvert that had probably been in place for well over 50 years.
Oh, geez.
So there wasn't hardly anything left of it, so.
And so it just basically eroded and washed the ground out around.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was fine.
we've had a few sinkholes this fall that just show up, so.
Everything's on 105th. I have been up that way.
The contractor has been told about needing some more fixes, or at least Ray Shooter has been told. He's supposedly got in touch with a different contractor. I haven't been up in the last couple of days to see what the condition is. When I reported to you last week, it was in better shape than it had been. Doesn't say it's good, but it was better last week, and I'll keep trying to communicate with Ray Suter and trying to see that move forward and get to a place where we're comfortable with it over the winter.
Are they still hauling?
Yeah.
I
So
don't
there's a
know
front,
they were, but then they were, but
yeah. So the front end loader is still parked there by the dirt. I hadn't seen what appears to be any dirt moving in the last week or so. But, doesn't mean they're not still doing it.
okay. Is that all you have?
Yes.
Val Austin? I don't have anything.
I don't have anything either.
I have a member of the public here.
Okay. What can I do for you? If you would, and then state your name and address for the record. Thank you.
My name is Krista Hepworth. If you need my address, I'm just talking, 3851 East Talon Circle in the county. Well, I was told you were gonna be meeting about the First Street expansion today. And so it looks like I was given incorrect.
No, I'm meeting with the city of Ammon to talk a little bit about that later on today, but not at road bridge.
That's okay, you can talk about it.
I guess just a little bit of just quick introduction, and I guess why, since you're gonna be considering this and meeting about it, and I know the design guidelines are coming up. I have a couple just items I want to just have on your mind in consideration as you do the design aspect of First Street. I am a member of the Ammon Urban Renewal Board. I've been on the Ammon Urban, even though I'm county.
Can I ask you, sorry, can I ask Claire, are you talking the First Street road improvement or the First Street signal improvement or the First Street from which?
Thank you. Which one?
Yeah, we
Yes.
try part of it.
Important clarification. Thank you. Sorry. I didn't realize there were so many different improvements going on down First Street. I'm specifically referring to the improvement from Ammon Road down to Hit Road.
Okay,
That would be working with the county, so Hammond City would be doing from their section, at which point it goes into the county. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So it's that area that I'm specifically referring to. I'm not coming as a member of the Ammon URA board. I'm just coming as a private citizen, but part of our discussion on the Ammon URA board does kind of tie into also my thoughts on this. We're trying to create walkable communities, you know, with the pathways and the different things. And I know that that isn't a focus with the county per se. And part of our urban renewal district is adjacent right there to that road, which we are trying to create a development so that there is walkable areas in that area. When I was initially told about this project, I was told that the plan was to have an island with trees down the middle of the road, kind of more like a boulevard. And then that eventually was removed off of the design and it's no longer. I guess for me personally, I'd like to encourage the commissioners to please consider bringing that aspect back into the design for a few reasons. 3 years ago, my son was hit by a drunk driver on First Street. There was no in that area, there's no curb and gutter, there's no anything to prevent any kind of traffic from striking pedestrians. I know that they're including sidewalks in this area with islands and trees down the center. There is a perceptual narrowing and slowing of traffic that takes place. There you have multiple schools right through that area. You have Tiebreaker Elementary, you have the Montessori School. To slow the traffic in that area would be greatly beneficial to our kids that are walking in that area. Also, I know that there's been some talk of wide sidewalks to help with the pedestrian traffic in that area as well. Again, if you look at if you bounce over to the new road that was done down Crowley in front of by Thunder Ridge, you have very wide sidewalks. You don't have any trees. You're losing, I feel like it's missing a critical aspect when you don't have trees or a grass buffer between the roadway and the pedestrian walkway. Trees and grass create a clear visual separation between the road and the pedestrian traffic. It acts as a soft barrier that makes roads feel more constrained. Again, it slows traffic. There's also shows that it increases driver attention because it narrows the driver's perception much closer rather than so far down the road. When you have just an open roadway like that, you tend to drive a lot faster because your line of sight is much further in the distance. When you have trees and a narrowing of a roadway, your eyesight goes much closer. I have dash cam footage just within the last couple months on First Street. Since I live right on First Street, I drive down this road very often. Number one, somebody doing a U-turn to avoid a police officer that was sitting on the side of the road going over the double yellow line. And then also, although this area is outside of, it's further down First Street, I almost witnessed two girls almost get hit by a car going across all the lanes of traffic. Yes, this is an important topic to me, more particularly to me personally because of my son. That was 3 years ago. He's going in for surgery in 15 days to have a rod put down his spine. If there were trees, if there was curb and gutter, if we have these things implemented, it creates a much safer area for our children. And it makes it more likely for people to use our sidewalks. And we don't have public infrastructure like buses, etc. So I know that there's costs associated with maintaining that sort of thing. But if you feel the ambiance of going down 25th in Idaho Falls with the island and the trees down the middle, sorry, not it, but the other 25th, you see how slow the traffic is. You see the ambiance, you see the feel. It does slow traffic naturally. And I would just really consider, I'd like the board to really consider this for a multitude of reasons. That's all.
Appreciate that. It's a difficult balancing act for counties, which are not cities,
Correct.
to establish patterns that are consistent with what cities would like when cities eventually do annex properties inside the city. And we have those discussions regularly, and I understand your concerns, and that's a very lively portion of the discussions that we have about when we start working on major road projects. Also, the balancing act is with the money that's available to do projects. So,
Which is why, sorry, I didn't mean
no, that's okay.
because the MNURA is currently has this in our zone. I mean, I personally would be an advocate for the board to consider utilizing our funds to help, whether it be maintenance. I don't know what all the logistics, obviously Micah would be meeting and discussing whether or not that is a possibility. But of any of the roads, like that section would be more likely to be annexed into our city, given its geography within,
Always more likely that the city will annex the property after the county spends a whole bunch of money to make all the improvements, and the city doesn't have to when they get around to annexing.
which is why I would encourage with,
The issue with, I mean, the whole. Yeah, it's a deep
Yes.
well, because when you stop funding tax base, holding the taxes because you're giving that to contractors to develop and make improvements to revitalize an area, you cut the feed out from the system that supports the improvements, the system. So I sit on that. Carl sits on City of Falls board. So it's like we try and work that so that it will work right. Ultimately, the safety of our kids and the rest of the citizens is really important. So we pay close attention to those things and doing what we can. We'll have more discussions about that as we start moving into it. Sure.
I understand the political nuances with the, like a URA board and how that can affect the tax situation and that sort of thing. I'm not ignorant of that. And all I'm saying is I feel like this is a way we can potentially work together so that that area isn't cut out of that funding, so that that funding is applied appropriately in that area that the renewal board is a part of. That's my two bits.
Appreciate that. Appreciate you coming in, your preparation and sort of.
The engineering hasn't been done for that section.
Yes, it
It
has.
has been done.
It's been done for a number of years now.
Do you have something else?
No.
You have to wait for us. Anything else? Okay. We're adjourned and you're excused.
Thanks.